Have you ever stared at your computer screen and thought to yourself, I have invested years of my life doing family history research, and it's all locked in this single genealogy application. What would happen if something happened to this software? I could lose everything. It's a serious consideration. And if you haven't created backup copies of your family tree, now is a good time to consider doing it. But how? Seriously, the thought of manually retyping hundreds of names into a new website or new software on your computer, it's enough to make anyone feel completely overwhelmed. Well, if this thought has ever crossed your mind, don't panic. You do not have to start from scratch. There is an efficient and useful tool for saving and copying all your hard work. It's a powerful, time-tested solution, the GEDCOM file. Now, I'm not suggesting that this is some kind of silver bullet or a comprehensive solution that will fix all of your problems and instantly address your concerns, but it is certainly an essential tool to help preserve your family tree, share your data with others, and move your hard work seamlessly from one software program to another. GEDCOM files. Today, we'll look at their capabilities, their limitations, and I'll walk you through the steps for importing and exporting your data safely. And specifically, we will be looking at how Wikitree handles GEDCOM files. Now, if you happen to be using different software, the general overview of GEDCOM is still relevant, and I'd encourage you to check back in the video description as I plan to add more software-specific demos shortly. So, let's go. GEDCOM and Wikitree today on Family Tree 123. Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. If you're new, my name is Jonathan, and my mission is to provide helpful tutorials and encouragement for you as you build your family tree. So let's start with an overall introduction to GEDCOM files, consider their strengths and limitations. A few decades ago, before the proliferation of today's massive online websites, family historians labored away using desktop software, whatever they could get their hands on. Back then, you had two main choices for sharing your research. You could print a huge stack of paper and send it in the mail, or you could copy your data into the proprietary file format of whatever specific software you were using. Great for backup, but you couldn't share it with others unless they happened to have the same software on their computer. To bridge that gap, the GEDCOM file standard was created way back in 1984. GEDCOM stands for Genealogical Data Communication. At its core, it's just a plain text file. It's incredibly small and efficient, great for preserving basic family tree details, so you can protect against software obsolescence, computer crashes, and simplify the process of sharing your family tree with others. Now, back in the 1980s and 90s, many families had an unofficial family historian who created GEDCOM files of a family tree and then put it on a floppy disk, you remember those, which could be passed around to other family members. You might even have one of these disks kicking around in a desk drawer or a file cabinet somewhere. Today, while online trees and automatic synchronization are far more common, the humble GEDCOM file still has its important strengths. For example, a GEDCOM file provides a reliable backup. We know that computers can fail for many reasons, whether it's a hard drive crash, a ransomware attack, or physical damage from fire or flood. So keeping all your files on one computer is risky. Creating a GEDCOM file regularly and saving it to a portable hard drive or a cloud account is a very smart way to protect your data. Also, a GEDCOM file enables platform mobility. It simplifies moving your tree. You would probably never switch platforms if you had to write everything out by hand. A GEDCOM file acts as a universal translator between different genealogy programs, making it easy to copy from one to another. However, GEDCOMs also have some shortcomings. For example, GEDCOM does not fully support media files. Well, technically, it can include photos, but right now this feature is not well supported. Most applications support GEDCOM files containing only the plain text data, including names, dates, and relationships, and maybe a biography. Photos and documents should be backed up separately. A second issue is the potential of version mismatches. The GEDCOM standard has changed and improved over time. As of 2026, the most widely used standard is version 5.5.1, but there is a more up-to-date version number 7, which supports media files. So if you create a GEDCOM file with version number 7, it may not be compatible with applications that are still using 5.5.1. This is a very unlikely problem to come across, but it is a possibility. Third is the issue of variable platform behavior. Every genealogical application handles GEDCOM files differently. Sites like Ancestry and Find My Past, for example, create a brand new family tree when you upload the file. They don't automatically reconcile or merge the trees for you. But websites hosting a single global family tree like Family Search and Wikitree do not allow you to create a private tree. Everything is built around their one common tree. So instead, they provide a structured process for integrating your data into that global family tree. Despite these limitations, there are still important use cases for GEDCOM files, especially backing up your family tree and copying your data from one software application to another. Now, for the remainder of this video, we're looking at how Wikitree handles GEDCOM files, importing and exporting. Let's start with exporting a file. Now, if you know for certain which ancestor you want to start with, navigate to that person's profile. For me, that's my ancestor Reuben Mills. Now, look at the top of their profile and you can see their Wikitree ID. We want to copy that. In my case, it's Mills-3147. Now, go up to the menu, go to My Wikitree, and select GEDCOMs, then click the Export tab. Now, we're going to configure our settings here. You'll need to check the privacy warning box, and as a Wikitree member who has agreed to the honor code, please be responsible and follow these cautions to protect the privacy when downloading GEDCOM files. Okay, so here we are. Option 1, you start by selecting the person that you want to build the tree around. Since we've already copied the ID for Reuben Mills, I can just paste his ID into this box. But if you haven't copied an ID, you'll notice that there's a watch list just below here. And if your ancestor is in this watch list, you can just select them and it will populate the box from here. Now we need to choose between exporting the ancestor's entire family tree or just their descendants. So once you've chosen that, you can go to option 2, where we can limit either the file size or we can limit based on privacy. So we have 3 options here that will affect the size and character of your GEDCOM file. First is no limits. It just downloads everything. Secondly is limiting for size. So this will only export the data, which I presume means names, dates, and relationships. And thirdly, and importantly, a limit for privacy. Now, if this file is strictly for personal backup on your computer, you can check the boxes to include detailed data. However, if you plan to upload this file to a public platform or share it with others, please ensure that you select option 3 to hide living individuals in order to protect their privacy. Once you've done that, click the Export GEDCOM button, and Wikitree will process your request in the background. Once it's ready, you will receive an email with the link for your file to download. Now, what about going the other way? Uploading a GEDCOM file to Wikitree. And so here are a few things to keep in mind before you start. Wikitree will not process a file that has more than 5,000 people in it. Also, you can upload a file using a basic guest account, but you won't be able to actually create or modify profiles until you upgrade to a Wikitree member account and sign the honor code. Okay, so let's walk through the integration process step by step. For the purpose of this tutorial, I've created a very small GEDCOM file using a different genealogy program. Go to the upper right corner, select My Wikitree, and then select GEDCOM. Choose the Upload GEDCOM tab. Now, take note of this information. Wikitree does not create a new family tree. Instead, it integrates all of your profiles into the single global family tree. If anyone in your GEDCOM file already has a profile, Wikitree will guide you through merging the details. If anyone in your family tree is not yet in Wikitree, then a new profile will be created for that person. Go to the Upload GEDCOM tab and choose your GEDCOM file from your computer. Just click on the button that says Choose File and then navigate to the location of your file. Once selected, it will appear in this text box. Then go to step 2. Just click the button Upload Chosen GEDCOM File. Your file will be sent to a processing queue, and depending on the size of the file, this can take quite a bit of time. Once the process has been completed, you will receive an email message indicating that your GEDCompare report is ready. You can click on the link in the message, or you can just return to this GEDCOM page again, scroll down, and view your GEDCompare report. It's going to be right here on this page. Now, please note, Wikitree does not keep this file forever. It will be deleted after 60 days of inactivity, once you stop comparing, creating, or editing profiles from the report. So here's my report. There's an introduction at the top, and a reminder that you are editing Wikitree's global tree. This is not your personal family tree. In my case, the report has 36 suggested matches. Now you will see this add and edit section next that tracks your progress, and so far you can see that I'm at 0 of 18. Finally, down at the bottom, we come to the list of names from your GEDCOM file and the Wikitree IDs, which are the suggested matches for those names. So let's jump down to John Mills. This was a common name, so I would expect there would be several suggested matches, and indeed, we can see there are 5 suggestions. For all of these individuals, we need to select the Compare button in order to see them side by side. So we'll select Compare beside John Mills, and I'll start with the top suggestion, Mills 3153. Now that we see the Compare window, the person from the GEDCOM file is in the left column, and the suggested Wikitree profile match is in the right column. Now, this looks very consistent. John's birth date and birthplace are the same, and his death date and place are also the same. Now, before we commit to this match, just for the sake of illustration, let's have a look at the other suggested profiles. The next one is Mills 6513, and we can see that the name is the same, the birth date is also the same, but this suggested John Mills was born in Surrey, England, not in Moncton, New Brunswick, Canada. If you want to find out more information about this profile, you can click the link, and if the profile happens to be private, you'll need to contact the profile manager and request that they add you to the trusted list so that you can see the details. But in this case, it's clearly not a match, so I can safely reject it. Now the next one, Mills 10659, same name. The birth date is close, but again, this John was born in Hatfield, England. I can safely reject this match as well. Just take your time and work through the suggested matches. But in this example, the first suggestion is clearly a definite match, so we can simply accept that first suggestion. So I click the button here, Match to Mills 3153, and it now says Matched. Now notice the appearance of the edit pencil beside the GEDCOM person's name. Click on this pencil, and you'll be able to edit this Wikitree profile for Mills 3153. You will have your existing data, and presumably your GEDCOM data will contain some new information as well. So this is where you blend together the different details from the two profiles. Just remember, this is a shared family tree. Someone else is the profile manager, and you should be careful only to make changes or deletions if you have clear evidence to support that change. Notice the 3 columns. The first is the existing Wikitree profile for Mills 3153. The second is the GEDCOM information, and the third will be the revised profile based on the edits that you make. Now in this example, most of this information is identical. But let's say, for example, the GEDCOM name for John is spelled without an H, Jon. Normally the software should highlight this variation here in the middle column, and you can just check the box to give preference to the GEDCOM information in the same way that you reconcile information in Ancestry and Family Search when adding information from records. Alternatively, you can simply type the changed name into the text box on the right side to make the change. I'm just going to change that back. Next, we want to read through the biography. If you need to edit the biography, this is done further down in the text edit window. By default, the software will automate these updates. This typically means that it will include both biographies, one after the other. You can check this box, Original Text, if you want to preserve the original profile text, or you can go ahead and edit the text in the text edit window. Once you're done editing, you should write a summary of the changes you've made so that other people who are following this profile will know what you've been doing. Then it's a good idea to select the Preview button first to check for any formatting errors. And then once you've had a look through, you can finally click the Save Changes button. Now, this edit window should be open in a new browser tab, so close the tab to return to the GEDCompare window. You can now also close this comparison window to get back to your GEDCompare report screen. Now look in the left side of the person's name. If there isn't a check mark in this box, go ahead and select it. This confirms that John Mills has been connected to a profile in the global family tree and no further action is needed. And if you scroll up, you'll see that the progress bar has now moved, showing 1 of 18. With practice, you'll be able to work through your family tree quickly and efficiently. And here's a tip for streamlining the workflow. When we open up the compare window for John Mills again, notice that his relationships appear beyond his name. So right here, you can go ahead and compare his mother, his father, his siblings, and so on. You can compare them right here in this window. Don't assume that each and every one is a match, but in most cases, these relationships can significantly speed up the process. And also remember, you don't have to do this all in one sitting. If your file has hundreds of names, it may take a while. So for this reason, it's a good idea to only upload a GEDCOM file to Wikitree when you know you will have a bit of time to dedicate to this important task of profile reconciliation. Just return to this GEDCompare report and refresh your suggested matches each time you come back to this page, and then you can continue until it's complete. When the Mills family was first added to Wikitree by another user, somebody I don't know, these profiles were very lean and not very well integrated into the global family tree. As I gained more experience on Wikitree over the years, I've seen many profiles made through GEDCOM uploads where the user clearly did not pay careful attention when comparing their file with existing profiles. This carelessness leaves behind a trail of duplicates or orphaned profiles and ends up costing other volunteers hours of effort to clean up the mess. Don't fall into the trap of rushing through your matches just to get the job done. Take your time and do it right the first time. Preventing duplicates now is much more efficient than trying to merge a massive structural mess later on. Well, moving your data via GEDCOM might seem a little daunting at first, but it is one of the absolute best ways to securely handle all of your hard work, to protect your research against loss, and to share your family's legacy with the world. Just take your time, respect Wikitree's honor code, and collaborate openly. And don't forget, if you ever hit a brick wall during this process, drop a message into the G2G forum, genealogist to genealogist. The Wikitree community is incredibly welcoming, helpful, and always willing to lend a hand. So thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe for more practical genealogy tutorials. And let me know down in the comments what genealogy application you're using and how you plan to use GEDCOM files in the future. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on Family Tree 123.